Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen. We're going to be restocking the freezer with some goodies today. I'm Kaylee. If you haven't been here before, this is my channel From Seed to Plate. I'm so happy you're here today and I hope you enjoy hanging out in the kitchen with me. We are going to be cooking quite a few things today. I would like to do some pizza dough for the freezer, flaky pie crust, tortillas, biscuits, chocolate chip granola bars, and chocolate chip cookies to put in the freezer. I don't know if we'll get all that done. It's a lot, but we're gonna try. Let's go. First, I'm gonna start by making some brown sugar. Brown sugar is just a combination of sugar and molasses. So I just get organic cane sugar, unbleached, from Costco in the big bags. And I think I actually ordered the molasses on Amazon, but I got a big thing of it that I need to replenish with from Azure. I didn't think I would use as much as I do, but I make cookies quite a bit, so I got a bunch. All right, let's get some sugar. So I just do 2 cups at a time usually because it'll fluff up. We're going to use quite a bit though, so I might actually be able to do a little more this time. I like to have extra. I clearly ran out because I had made just enough the last time I needed it. Honestly, I don't measure and I don't really remember the ratios. I just put in a little bit, mix it together, see how it looks. If I want it darker, I add more. That simple. You can just do it with a fork. I prefer to do it with the mixer just because it takes a little bit to get the molasses mixed into the sugar. I'm going to use the whisk attachment. I actually have my mixer sitting right beside you. I'm not going to move it because it's kind of heavy, but all right, it's not totally mixed in, but it's good enough for what I need it for. I usually use it for just cookies and a couple other simple recipes. So the first thing I'm gonna work on is some brown butter chocolate chip cookies. So we're actually gonna keep out 1.5 cups. And then I'll put the rest in the container. Try not to get brown sugar all over the counter too much. All right. I think we need brown sugar for one of the other recipes too, but I don't remember what it is. We shall see when we get there. 1, and I like this measuring cup because it actually has measurements on the inside. I think I got these from Home Goods. Yeah, Home Goods. I love them, and they are gonna last forever. They're super heavy duty. I can put this away for now. One thing I like to do when I start a bunch of recipes like this is I like to get all my ingredients together. So here I have my sugar, a couple kinds of flour. The bread flour was going to be for bagels, but I really don't know that we're going to get to that today, so it's out just in case. So these are all my ingredients, except for the butter is in the fridge because that needs to be cold. All right, so for this recipe, I need to get out 1 cup of butter and 3 eggs. right, so this whole block is a cup. A regular stick of butter is half a cup. So we need to melt this guy. Just put that on real low heat and let that melt while we get other stuff together. So we need half a cup of white sugar. These containers came with these measuring cups, which I love because I can just keep them in the containers, but it's really hard to see the impressions of the numbers in there. I feel like I need glasses when I'm trying to look at it. And then once our butter melts, we'll mix that in with the sugar. We're gonna add our flour, baking powder, baking soda, and salt in a separate bowl. So we need 2.5 cups all-purpose flour. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever flour comes out in my house, it's a mess. Always, doesn't matter. I just expect that it's gonna need to be cleaned up. I say 2.5 cups. This recipe is from scratchpantry.com. It's called brown butter chocolate chip cookies. I don't brown the butter normally. I've done it a couple times. I just melt it, and I think it tastes fantastic that way. Chocolate chip cookies and brownies are probably my 2 favorite desserts. I have not tried any brownie recipes homemade yet, so if you have any that you would like to share that are delicious, let me know. My favorite ones are boxed that I've had thus far. I've only had 1 or 2 homemade brownies, and they were, So I would really like to try to make some of my own, but I need a good recipe. All right, baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon. This little guy. Baking soda, 1 teaspoon. And 1 teaspoon of salt. Not sure if I need those for anything else. I'm just going to keep those off to the side here. I know I need salt for sure. I'll just mix that on up. All right, our butter's melting. We'll need vanilla. We'll need our chocolate chips. We need to mix the butter, the warm butter, in with the sugar, and then we will let it cool before we add the eggs, vanilla. Yeah, the eggs and the vanilla, and then we'll add our dry ingredients after those are mixed up. While that butter's melting, I think I'm going to go ahead and start on my chewy chocolate chip granola bars. This is the other one that requires brown sugar. So this recipe says to use 2 cups of quick cooking instant oats, and do not use regular old-fashioned oats. I don't have those. So I looked up how to make instant oats out of old-fashioned oats, and it says you just blend some of them to make the particles smaller so that they cook faster. So we're gonna try it and see what happens. Hopefully it works. I like to experiment, see what I can do. I have heard to, when you do it, to remeasure, like since I need 2 cups, blend 2 cups and then remeasure, because the amount changes a little bit, so. We'll see, we're gonna use this guy, I think. It says just to pulse it a few times. I don't have, so my kitchen's pretty small, so I have to kind of figure out where to put things. All right. I just want to shake them up a little bit, see if I can get some of the other ones toward the top or bottom. Is that top, bottom? I don't know. All right, well, I don't want to turn any of it into powder, so I think that's going to be it. So we'll just leave this for right this second. We have it ready because we need to get out another pan and bring the stuff to a boil that it said. So we need to, in a large pot, combine butter, brown sugar, and honey. Bring that to a boil over medium-high heat. Lower the heat, simmer till the sugar dissolves. Okay, so we need 1/3 cup of brown sugar, which we just made some up. I'm not turning the heat on yet because I don't want anything to burn. I'm gonna cut this way. So we just need 6 tablespoons of butter. So we're gonna use our measurements on our packaging to make that easy for us. All right, our butter is melted for our cookies. So we're gonna put that right in there with the sugar. We're gonna get that all mixed together. And then I'm not gonna put anything else in there until this butter cools off a little bit, because we don't want it cooking the eggs or melting the chocolate chips. I mean, maybe some of y'all like to melt the chocolate chips in it. That's fine too. Do you, boo? All right, that's mixed in there, so we'll let that sit for a little bit, and we will work on our other one over here. Honey. We need honey. Come on over here with me. We're doing 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of honey, so I'm actually gonna oil my measuring cup so that my honey slides out of it easy and it doesn't stick to it. I should have set my honey upside down before doing this. Might have to actually get out my other one. This is so gonna make a mess on the jar, but that's okay. It'll be fine. It's all fine. Plus a couple tablespoons. There we go. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad at all. And look at that. Almost all that honey came out. All right. I'm supposed to be stirring this constantly. I'm not always good at following directions. That's why I have to read my recipes multiple times over. I hope these turn out good. I hope they're chewy, like the chewy granola bars you get from the store. I used to love those things, and then I looked at the ingredients in them and it made me really sad. And the calories weren't so great either, but you know how it goes. This is thickened up. I don't know if you can really tell, but it feels thicker for sure. So we need to add 1.5 teaspoons vanilla extract. I measure vanilla with my heart because I love it. So we're gonna add heaping 1/8 teaspoon of salt. So I personally am probably gonna add almost 1/4 teaspoon then, because I like salt too. I like salt and vanilla a lot. And those are definitely things, ooh, that smells so good. Those are definitely things that I measure with my heart. For sure. Sometimes a little heavy-handed. It's only turned out bad a couple times. We need 2 cups of the oats. Okay, that still turned out perfect. Good. Good, good. Just the way I like it. The rice cereal is 1 3/4 cups. I just got this bag from Amazon of rice puffs. The only ingredient in it is whole grain brown rice. So we shall see how that turns out. Hopefully swell. All right. Yeah. We're gonna do 1.5 since it said 1 3/4, and I think that's still probably too much. Almonds, 1/2 cup. I actually just happen to have, you could put whatever you want in this, I think. I just happen to have almonds, and I like almonds and chocolate and stuff together, so I'm gonna do 1/2 cup of almonds. Thankfully, these haven't gone bad yet, even though I've had them for a while. Ah, that's plenty. I don't need a ton of those. It says to fold in with a spatula. I don't know, this doesn't feel like very much to me. This should be interesting. Let's spray this, I guess. I mean, if it sticks, it sticks. I eat it as granola, right? I actually think I want to mix the chocolate chips in with it. Where are my minis? I want mini chocolate chips for this. Yeah, I think I'm going to mix it in. I don't want them just on, it says to put them on top, but I think I want to put them in them. I feel like I want to look at the recipe to see how much to put in, but I also want to measure chocolate chips with my heart too. 1/3 cup? That seems like not enough to me. We'll see. Maybe 2/3 cup? We'll see how that looks. 1/3 cup of chocolate chips, I feel like would never be enough for anything, for any recipe. I mean, touching the bottom of the pan, it is melting, so let's get it out of here and into this. Maybe that's why they want you to do it on top. Who knows, but who doesn't like a little melty chocolate? I sure do. And if you don't, I don't know that we could be friends. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, let me bring you down here. Show you what I'm doing, huh? All right, so I'm just pushing this down into the pan. It's gonna be really thin, I feel like. I guess I shouldn't say that till I get it spread out, but It says 9 by 13 pan. All right, well, I see why they didn't want you to mix the chocolate in with it, because it's not all melted chocolate, but that is a-okay, because we're just gonna do a little sprinkle of those and push those into it also. But that's what happens when you don't follow the recipe. I'm okay with a little extra chocolate in there. You can always change recipes. You just have to be willing to live with the consequences, good or bad. Sometimes it turns out amazing. That's why it's fun to experiment. Okay. Those look nice, I think. I think they do. I mean, we have a little bit up on the edges here, but it is what it is. I think that's good enough for me. All right, so this goes in the fridge for 1.5 to 2 hours. Okay, so just a tip when doing these. It says to transfer to a cutting board, use a sharp knife, cut in rectangles. Store the bars airtight in a container in the refrigerator. And if you stack them, put parchment paper in between them. So we shall see how they turn out in a couple hours. So now we're gonna finish making our brown butter cookies, minus the brown butter, just butter. We need to add our eggs, our vanilla, mix in our dry ingredients, and then our chocolate chips. Let's do it. So there's our 2 whole eggs. There's our egg yolk. If anyone can crack eggs without getting eggs all over your fingers, let me know your technique. Please and thank you. Because I always have to wash my hands after I crack eggs. Vanilla, 2 teaspoons. Again, I measure with my heart. So that's combined. And we just add our dry ingredients. Remember, this is flour, baking powder, baking soda, and salt that we're adding separately. And it does make a difference if you don't mix your wet ingredients and your dry ingredients separate first. If you just mix them all together, the batter consistency doesn't come out right. So I don't want to over mix this dough. So as that's finishing mixing up, I'm going to go ahead and pour the bag of chocolate chips in there. I did not make the hole big enough for this. There we go. Oh look, the bag matches my kitchen. Candy. All right, that looks pretty mixed up. So this dough's a little softer, so I'm going to put it in the fridge for a couple hours while I make other things. And then once these are done cooling, I will scoop them out with a cookie scoop or ice cream scoop, one of the small ones. Put them on a pan, flash freeze them, or just freeze them so they're separate. And then once the dough's frozen, I will put it in a freezer bag. And then I can just take out a couple cookie dough balls at a time and bake them, so that I don't have to make a bunch of cookies at one time. It's just me. So I don't want to make a bunch of cookies and then feel the need to eat all of them before or let them go bad or have to give them away or whatever. I still give a lot away, but I don't have to. I can just make a couple at a time. It works great for me. The best tool I have learned since I started my homemade cooking and gardening and stuff about a year ago, seriously, is freezers. I did not even think before about using them for cookie dough, for veggies, for, you know, like pre-cut veggies and that kind of stuff. I just had never thought about it in meal planning and that. I usually make a bunch of leftovers for dinner. I'll separate it into separate containers and then put it in the freezer. And then I have meal prep, but I don't have to eat the same meal prep through the week. I can eat it whenever I want to. All right, so I'm gonna cover this and put it in the fridge. So I wanna make biscuits next. The only thing I didn't have is half and half, but she just does half and half with either lemon juice or vinegar, which essentially makes a more acidic milk. I had powdered buttermilk, so I reconstituted that, and now I have the 3/4 cup of buttermilk instead of half and half, which should work just fine. I've only made it with half and half, but people make buttermilk biscuits all the time, so it should work. We shall see. So we're gonna preheat the oven to 425. All right, we're gonna do 2 cups all-purpose flour. Baking powder, we need 2 teaspoons. One, 2, and then baking soda, we only need a 1/4 teaspoon. And baking soda is a little clumpy, so I just like to put it in my hand and kind of mash it to get the lumps out of there. 1 teaspoon salt. Okay, we mix all those together. It says to use a pastry knife to cut in the cold butter, but I don't have a pastry knife, so I'm just going to use a fork. It's only going to leave a little sliver of butter left, but that's okay. It will get used in my house. I should have just put this in the blender. I thought a fork would work better than it has. So now I'm just cutting it with a butter knife. All right, I'm throwing it in the blender. I'm not doing this. All right, guys, I ended up just throwing it in the blender. And it came out perfect. So we're just going to do that. Okay. get all this out of my way. Like I said, my counters are pretty small, so I have to move things as I go. We're going to use 3/4 cup. So we should have a little over 1/4 cup left here, because I have a cup of this buttermilk. Okay. I'm so excited about these biscuits. I haven't had them in a while. These I make a batch and then I put them in the freezer. And then I just heat 1 or 2 up when I want them. Sometimes I'll make sausage gravy and I'll put that in separate serving size containers, and then I can just heat up a biscuit in the gravy and have that for breakfast, and I don't even have to do any work besides either heating it up on the stove or putting it in the microwave. Works perfect for me. I mean, you can even do that for your family if you want to. You can just save it in bigger batches. The dough felt a little too wet, so I added a little bit of flour to it. All right, let's do a rectangle. It says to fold into thirds and then roll it out. I have not mastered the art of rolling out dough to make it into any shape that I actually want it. All right. We're going to do this one more time. And this is just to create some flaky layers. In our buttery biscuits. Oh no. So we want these about 1/2 inch thick, because they'll puff up a little bit. All right, and you don't want to twist the cutter. You just want to go straight down and back up. It seals off the edges and then you don't get the flaky layers. These might be a little too thin. Oh well. I'll just have to watch how long I cook them. I actually just got this cutter. I like it. I was using a wine glass, but I felt like the wine glass had a little bit too small of a mouth. I wanted bigger biscuits. So this is the perfect size, I think. And then I don't waste dough, so I'm going to put this back together. Roll it out. Maybe do a couple thicker ones. Or lopsided ones. A little of both. It's just fine. And with me, they taste the same. All right, so that's 13. Probably gonna get 2 more. Here. Might actually just cut these in half and there's my extra little misshapen one. It'll taste just as good. All right, we're gonna do an egg wash. Make them nice and pretty and crispy on top. And into the oven we go. These are gonna go in for 12 to 15 minutes at 425. All right, so I think we're gonna go with our flaky pie crust and our easy freezer pizza dough next. Well, we'll do one at a time, but I think we're just gonna go with the flaky pie crust since I already have the blender dirty. We will use that. These are just doughs that I want to make and put in the freezer. I'm actually not going to be cooking them today. I just want them for future use. So I think we're going to do 4 pie crusts. I don't really make fruit pies, but I have made pot pie. I've actually only made this pie crust a couple times. I made it for the pot pie. And then I made Pop-Tarts, which actually turned out really good. This pie crust, I actually don't love pie crust usually, but this recipe from scratchpantry.com is really good and buttery and delicious. So you should try it. But I'm not gonna cook it today. I'm just gonna put it together and make it for the freezer. And then I will have it already made when I want to make something with it. Because I do wanna try to make some more Pop-Tarts. I don't know what else. I think I might try to do like mini pot pie or Hot Pockets or something of that sort. We'll see. All right, guys, this pastry has a lot of butter in it. We need a cup for each recipe. That's why pastry tastes good, because it's butter. All right, so we need 2.5, so 5 cups of flour. So we have about a cup of water, since each recipe requires half a cup, and it's ice water. All right, so we got a cup of flour, 2 cups. Maybe we should just do one at a time. 2.5 cups. I really want to do all of them, but I think it's probably smart to just do one at a time. All right, 1 teaspoon salt. My bad. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing, can you? Teaspoon salt is in. We're gonna have to do another one of those. And 2 tablespoons of sugar. Oh, where's my tablespoon? There's my tablespoon. 1 and 2. I think the sugar is just like crisp up the crust. I think. All right, so we are going to blend this together, and then we add in our ice water, or no, our butter. It says to cube up the butter and add that into, they say a food processor. This works just fine. I'm having a really hard time with this butter today. Okay. Why is it so difficult to cut butter? It sticks. But it'll mix more evenly if I cut it up first, so. Oh, come on. Okay. All right, we're gonna do big chunks. I don't feel like messing with this. It's starting to get late. I don't care. It's fine. It'll work out just fine. It'll still be delicious. Or I'll have big clumps of butter. Either way, that's fine. We're gonna blend until the butter is pea-sized. Let's hope with the size I cut the butter, it gets there. All right, that's our biscuits. And hopefully that's good. Ah. Maybe another minute or two. Actually, for as thin as they were, it didn't turn out bad. I'd prefer them a tiny bit thicker, but I'm not mad about it. All right, so we're gonna do 2 more minutes, I think. Oh, it smells so good in here. All right, I think the butter in there turned out pretty good. So we're gonna do the same thing with the other one, with the second batch. And then I'm just gonna put them all in here together. Before we add the butter, the timer just went off on our biscuits. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, these smell amazing. It's making me really hungry for dinner. Oh yeah. Those look perfect. Ooh, the oven's hot. Look at that. Oh, don't those look scrumptious? Well, I'm not cutting them up super small because the other batch cut up just fine in the blender. So I don't think we have to be too ridiculously particular about it. It's literally all stuck to the knife. That's talent right there, I have to say. I impress myself sometimes. It only takes the little things to entertain us, right? I love doing this I'm gonna have a messy kitchen in a little bit. Well, it's already messy. A messier kitchen in a little bit to clean up. All right, we're gonna slowly add our water in. You don't really want to use your hands as much as possible, so because of the heat, you don't want to melt the butter. So we're just gonna mix it in slowly. You want it to just hold together. You don't want it to be too wet. So we're just gonna mix in a little bit of this water at a time. Some of these pieces are probably a little bit bigger than we want them to be, but butter makes everything better. This is just something you want to take your time. Something you want to take your time doing so that you don't do that. And so that you don't put too much water in at one time and make the dough too wet. Like I said, I've only made this a couple times, but both times it turned out really good. And I wasn't overly, the one I wasn't sure if I put too much water, the one was a little dry, and they both were delicious. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to try to make sure that it's not a really wet dough. I already said that. But it's true. So I'm actually going to do part of this, I think. Because there's still, see, there's like this dry in the bottom. We can just add a little bit of moisture to that. We don't have to add it to everything. So I pretty much use that whole cup of water. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it has to do with the moisture in your house or how much little bit extra flour or less than flour you put in there. There's a bunch of different factors. It's more of a texture and look than it is exact amounts. So you just do as much water as you need until it'll just stay together. All right, so I'm gonna try to kind of split this up into 4 semi-equal crusts. And then we're gonna just push them together with the parchment paper so that it holds its shape. I might have to add some more water. That is not sticking together for me. I don't know. Like I said, I've only done this 2 other times. And I only did 1 batch. So, trial and error. Sometimes things work great. Sometimes you got to work at it a little more. Honestly, I think I'm just going to put these back in the bowl. Mix more water in, and then take it back out, do 1 clump, push it together, and then cut it into 4s. I think that's how we're gonna do this. I think that'll be easier than trying to do it all separately. Maybe. I could be wrong. I really didn't think I would use more water than this. All right, guys, let's try this again. Look at this, guys. It's sticking together this time. It's really exciting. If you want to see a channel that does everything perfectly and everything's beautiful and not messy, this one is not for you. But if you want to see real life mistakes, real life challenges that we try to fix, this is the place for you. All right. So now from here, I'm going to try to cut this into 4 semi-even. That won't be perfect either, but that is just fine. It'll still taste delicious. I am so terrible at splitting things like this evenly. But practice makes better, right? I think that looks pretty good. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Now let's see if we can get this moved onto the other parchments without tearing this one. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere, guys. Now we're getting somewhere. I like it. I like it. So I actually had to add another ½ cup of water. So that's about ¼ cup per recipe. All right, disc 2. I'm pretty proud of that. After what it looked like and not being able to get it together, I think we did pretty well, guys. I think we did pretty well. All right, number 3. And number 4. We did it. All right, we did it. We got the 4 pie crust made, or pizza crust, or Hot Pocket crust, or Pop-Tart crust, whatever I decided to do with them. And I will share that with you guys at another day. So I'm going to put these in the freezer. I am going to check on the cookie dough and see if that's ready to scoop. If it's not, then we'll go ahead and make pizza dough for the freezer. But first, I am going to eat a biscuit because these look delicious. Mmm. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even need butter. It's really good. Okay. I'm gonna put these in the freezer and check on the dough. And I will be back with you. So I'm going to leave a couple of these biscuits out to have in the morning for breakfast. And then actually, I'll take the little ugly ones because they taste just as good. All right, I'm going to keep those out for tomorrow. Then I'm going to put the rest in the freezer. And then all you have to do, I don't even really have to set them out. You can just stick them in the microwave. You just have to do it like 10 seconds at a time, or it'll get, you know, kind of crusty on the outside. Not crusty, hard. It'll get hard on the outside and no one wants a hard biscuit. So I'll just take these, throw them in the freezer and pull out one or two when I want them. So the last thing I'm gonna do is freezer pizza dough. I was gonna do tortillas, but it's kind of getting late. I'm kind of getting tired. I don't even know if I'm gonna clean this up tonight. I might just leave it for tomorrow morning. We'll see. But the pizza dough is just all-purpose flour, yeast, sugar, salt, oil, and water. You mix it together, you separate it, and you put it in the freezer. So that's simple. So we're gonna do that. We wanna combine our water, yeast, and oil and set aside for 5 minutes. You gotta wait for the water to warm up. The water needs to be about 110 degrees so that it activates the yeast, but it doesn't kill the yeast. You can measure it with a thermometer, but I usually just do, if it's warm and not hot, it's good. It works. 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. That is a tablespoon, not a teaspoon. Oop. 1 and 2 and 1/4. So we'll let that sit for a few minutes, let it bloom, because I don't have instant yeast, so we're gonna let that activate, and then once we put it in the freezer, it'll stop it, and then when I cook the dough, it'll be good. I'm gonna move the cookie dough from the mixer bowl into another bowl. I don't want to hand knead the pizza dough. I want the mixer to mix it for me. I'm actually gonna leave this sit out because it's a little firm, so I want it to be a tiny bit softer so that it's easier to scoop. I'm gonna wash this bowl. We're all washed up. We need 3 1/2 to 4 cups of flour. So we'll start with 3 1/2. Hopefully I have enough in here for this recipe. 1, 2, oh, I think we do. It's really exciting because I didn't want to open my new 50-pound bag yet. 3. Oh man, this is awesome. It's really exciting when things work out perfectly. Look at that. Just this little bit left. Yeah. Okay, it's 3 1/2. And then we have maybe a half if we need it. Teaspoon of salt. And a tablespoon of sugar. All right. Yeah, I was gonna make corn tortillas today, but I'm getting sleepy. So that'll have to wait tomorrow or the next day, I think. And tortillas, especially corn tortillas, are actually super easy to make. They're just a little bit time consuming. Mixing it up takes no time at all, but then you have to roll it into a ball. You got to flatten them, which I do have a press, so that makes it easier, and then cook them. So, and I like to do a big batch and then freeze them, as with everything else. So it just takes some time. And it's almost 8 p.m. and I'm ready for a shower and to lay down and read a book. So I'm just gonna add my oil to this mixture. How much oil did I need? Where's it at? 2 tablespoons. Where did my tablespoon go? Uh-oh, now I'm losing things. I just had it for the sugar. Did I left it in the sugar. Yeah, put it right back in the sugar like it belonged there. All right. I use avocado oil. It just says oil. I'm sure you can use vegetable oil, canola oil. I like avocado. I don't usually use olive oil because it has a stronger flavor. If I want to substitute like vegetable oil or canola oil, I use avocado oil because it doesn't have a strong flavor. I actually might make some breakfast bowls with you guys. I think I want to do potatoes, bacon, sausage, cheese, eggs. I don't know that I want to do burritos, but I think I could do breakfast bowls. I mean, they sell those in the freezer section, so why can't I do it? So these potatoes, I just peeled, cut up, blanched them for a few minutes, put them on a pan to flash freeze them, and now I'm just taking them off the pan because this is the pan that I want to use for the cookie dough. And I'm just going to put them in a Ziploc bag and put them back in the freezer. And now they won't stick together. That's why I flash freeze them on a pan first. Yeah, so I might just cook up some stuff and then I can just take these as they are, frozen, put them in a container, and then I could just stick them in the oven or in the microwave for easy breakfast. I think I might do that. I'll bring you guys along for that too. All right, I had to add a little more flour. It's starting to pull away from the sides. I think I'm going to take it out and hand knead it. Sometimes it's easier to incorporate the flour that way. Okay. I'm just going to incorporate all this flour because this dough is still really sticky and I don't know why, honestly. It really shouldn't be this sticky. It's so stuck to this. I'm having a rough time today, guys. This is too sticky. The pie crust was too dry. I'm just not doing so good at getting my ratios right today. But that's okay. It's things we can fix. So, it's good things to keep in mind. You can always add more flour. You can always add more water. That's the nice thing about bread products. I can't say that about like cakes and stuff, but a lot of bread stuff is pretty forgiving. I thought it was going to be all complicated and have to be exact and stuff until I started making it. It's more by the feel than anything else. And I actually kind of like that about it because I like to cook like regular dinners and stuff. Actually more than I like to bake, but I don't mind it so much if I don't have to be totally exact. Oh yeah, this dough is going to be nice once I get enough flour in there and it's not sticky. It's nice and soft. And what's nice about this pizza dough is you don't have to let it rise or anything. You just take it out, let it thaw, and then you turn it into a pizza. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm actually going to quarter it. So it's supposed to make 2 pizzas, I believe. I think I'm going to quarter it and then I can make smaller pizzas for myself. I won't have as much leftover. I love leftovers, but I don't like to have to eat the same thing every day. So if I like to have like 1 or 2 meals for leftovers. That's why I freeze a lot of stuff, because then I can just leave it in the freezer for weeks at a time. And I can have a variety of meals. So now with the dough, oh, this looks nice. It's bouncing back. So we're good to go. So I'm just going to cut this into 4 pieces, oil it, and put it in bags and stick them in the freezer. And then we are done with our pizza dough. Like I said, I am terrible at making it anything even pieces, but that's okay. They don't need to be totally even. It's just for me. Okay. I like to put them in little balls. Just because I do, because I'm like that. All right, into the freezer these go. I'm gonna clean this counter up. We're gonna get that cookie dough scooped, and then I'm gonna get ready for bed. I really think one of the keys to having a successful cooking day like this is, one, to have everything clean ahead of time. I emptied the dishwasher and stuff, so I'll actually be able to put most of this in the dishwasher before I go to bed. So I shouldn't have to hand wash hardly anything, which would be really nice because I really don't feel like it. I would definitely wait till tomorrow if it does. But having the dishwasher empty, having extra hand towels on hand. I try to get all my ingredients out ahead of time. That helps a lot. If there is, like if I'm cooking dinners or something, if there's prep work that needs to be done, I try to do that the day before or earlier in the day. Something like that, so that I don't have to try to get everything done at one time. It's not as tiring, because spending hours in the kitchen, it can be really tiring, but it's very rewarding too, so it's worth it. All right, so this is how I almost always do my cookie dough. I just use a little scoop, this little guy. Because I don't like huge cookies, I'd rather have a couple small ones. Come on. This recipe does make a pretty big batch of cookies. So I won't, depending on how many I give away, I won't have to make these for a while. I like to give them away to my friends, sometimes my neighbor. He's super nice, so he deserves cookies every now and then. And then my friends will like help me with my golf cart or my car or something, so I'll take them cookies for payment, or if I'm having dinner at their house or something, I'll bring cookies over. All right, that's all our dough. Into the freezer it goes. All right, our granola bars have been in the fridge, not freezer, for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours. So let's cut into these and see how they are. Fingers crossed they're delicious. I'm hoping, really, really hoping they're really chewy. That's what I want. I want chewy granola bars. The problem is I'm gonna cut the parchment paper with it. Okay. Oh, it did say to take them out and put them on a cutting board. I just don't follow directions very well. All right. Bite of truth. Oh, it's chewy. It's good. I think I might try it next time without the puffed rice though. I kind of want all oatmeal. And I might try molasses instead of honey. It is chewy though. It is chewy. And it does taste good. If anyone wants to try this recipe, it's from Once Upon a Chef with Jen Siegel. It's onceuponachef.com. They are really good. I would probably just change a couple ingredients next time. And that's just for my flavor preferences. I like honey to sweeten things, to add a little bit of sweetener to it, but I don't love the taste of honey. Has a little bit too much honey flavor for me, but it's definitely still edible. It definitely still tastes good. I'm super excited. It's chewy. I'll definitely be putting a couple of these in the fridge and the rest in the freezer, I think. So then I won't be tempted to eat them as often. All right, guys, it's time to relax. I have all the things here that we made together today. We have our 4 pizza crusts, our 4 pie crusts, a bag of biscuits, our cookie dough, and our freezer granola bars. These are really delicious after they've been frozen, by the way. I had a little snack. Thank you for being here. I hope you have the best day. I'll see you next time. Bye.